Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Halloween podcast. I am your host, Lyle Perez. Today is October 23rd, 2024, and you are listening to episode 42 of our Haunted America series. Today is going to be a great episode because we are finally in my home state. That's right, we're diving into the haunted history of Tennessee, the volunteer state. You guys know I am a real estate agent here in Savannah, Tennessee, and I've been into some pretty strange homes over the years. We got a lot of old, creepy homes. We have a main street. Well, it's not really a main street, but it's College Street. There's a lot of historical homes there, and there was one for sale that was, I think it was built in like 1880 or something like that. But I've been into that house. I've done videos in that house. I didn't really notice anything really creepy, but just being inside a really old home like that, where it's all like decrepit and things like that, that it kind of gives you that sense of, oh, maybe there's something behind me. But I've been in that house a few times by myself, and then of course I've taken some clients to look at that home. It was a pretty cool home. That was one time. I also remember there was another time where I went to it was an abandoned school. That was pretty creepy. I was in that home for probably a good 30 minutes waiting for my client to show up. Well, it's not really a home. It's a school that they were going to turn into a home. But I remember being in that home. Oh, I keep calling it a home. I remember being in that school, and yeah, it was very creepy. I went into the gym, and just being in there in like complete darkness, it's very, very creepy. Those are probably the two most creepiest places I've actually been in as a real estate agent. I've never been into a supposedly haunted house, but yeah, I mean, that's just my experience as a real estate agent here in Tennessee. So if you're looking for any property in the state of Tennessee, let me know. The host from the Halloween podcast might be able to help you buy your dream home. So let's get back to the show. From eerie mansions to haunted battlefields, this state has it all, and I've actually seen some of these places firsthand. So buckle up, guys, because we are about to take a wild ride to Tennessee's most haunted locations. Our first stop is right here in Savannah, Tennessee, my hometown. The Cherry Mansion overlooking the Tennessee River is steeped in history, especially during the Civil War. But it's also known for its ghostly inhabitants. One of the mansion's most famous specters is Mrs. Cherry, who is believed to have stayed behind after her death. Visitors and caretakers often report seeing her ghostly figure wandering the halls, especially near the rooms that once served as makeshift hospitals during the Battle of Shiloh. Some visitors claim to have seen Union soldiers in period uniforms lingering near the windows, staring out toward the river. Others have heard the faint sound of whispers and the clinking of medical instruments, as though the house is replaying the grisly events of the past. One chilling experience involves a guest feeling the cold pressure of a hand on their shoulder, only to turn around and find no one there. While the mansion is privately owned, it opens for tours on special occasions, giving locals and visitors the chance to connect with its haunted past. Alright guys, so the Cherry Mansion I've been to a few times. I've driven by it a bunch of times. You have to, when you're going over the Tennessee River, you can see it out in the distance when you're coming back from, like, if you're in Crump and you're going back to Savannah, you have to cross over the river, and if you look on your left, you'll be able to see the Cherry Mansion there. It's actually pretty cool that you can drive to it. Of course, me being a real estate agent, I've actually I showed a house that was adjacent to it. So from that house, I was able to see the Cherry Mansion like right in front. And that was kind of one of the selling things that I would say all the time is to the potential buyer is that they can see like the Cherry Mansion, very historic, yada yada. General Grant was there, and all of that good stuff. So it was one of those good selling points, and I never knew that it had a haunted reputation. I was able to find a few different sources online saying that some of the ghostly things that happened there. But the locals here, I've asked a few locals that I know, and they're like, yeah, I don't, I've never heard of anything like that at the Cherry Mansion. I don't know who the owners are. I've never met them. I have seen people like groundskeepers out there because it's something that you can definitely drive up to, and there's a placard outside. I might actually take a special trip when my back's feeling better because you guys, I mentioned this on the Facebook page, but I threw my back out the other day, and right now I'm fine. I took some ibuprofen, so I'm good, but when I feel better, or maybe I'll just do it right now and then post it later. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But right now, let's move on to the next location. Next, we travel to Rotherwood Mansion in Kingsport, a home known as much for its beauty as it is for its tragic history. Built in 1818, this mansion was a site of heartbreak and sorrow, as Rowena Ross, the daughter of the home's original owner, lost 2 fiancés before tragically taking her own life. Visitors often see Rona's ghost standing near the Holston River, her favorite place during life, and the place where her second fiancé drowned. Rona's apparition, clad in a flowing white dress, has been seen on the mansion's grounds, most often at dusk. Those who encounter her often report an overwhelming sense of grief and sadness. Her spirit is also known to wander the mansion itself, where she is sometimes heard weeping softly late at night. Visitors have also reported seeing candles flickering and lights dim mysteriously whenever Rona's presence is near. While the mansion is privately owned, it's occasionally open for tours, allowing visitors to step into the shadows of its haunted past. Just a short drive from Savannah is the Shiloh National Military Park, one of the most haunted battlefields in the country. The Battle of Shiloh was one of the bloodiest engagements of the Civil War, with over 23,000 casualties in just 2 days. Many visitors report hearing the sounds of battle even today, with gunfire, cannon blasts, and the screams of soldiers echoing through the air, especially around the anniversary of the battle. One of the eeriest areas is Bloody Pond, where soldiers wash their wounds, turning the water red with blood. People passing the pond often report seeing ghostly figures of soldiers kneeling by the water, their forms only visible for a brief moment before fading into the mist. Another hotspot for paranormal activity is Shiloh Church, where some visitors have heard hymns being sung by invisible voices and seen the faint outlines of soldiers gathering inside. The battlefield is open to the public, offering both history and the chance to experience its ghostly past. Now, Shiloh is a place that I've been to a ton of times. I probably drive past it every Sunday when we're on our way to Corinth. It's a very, very cool place, very big. You can drive around a lot. You can get out, you can walk around, look at all of the battle sites. You can go inside their little museum and watch like a whole movie of the Battle of Shiloh. And it's pretty cool. I've driven through Shiloh a few times at night. And Tennessee is nothing like California. In California, there would be street lights everywhere. And, everything's very, very well lit. Here in Tennessee, everything is very dark. So you can be driving through Shiloh or through the highway because it's right next to, I think, the 22 highway. So if you're on the 22 and you're heading to like when I had to go, I was picking somebody up from the airport. So I was on my way to Memphis, and that's the way I took. So you're driving down there and there's no lights anywhere. It's completely dark, completely eerie. There was one time where I was driving down there and I saw like this light out in the distance and it was like flickering, and it didn't look like it was a headlight or anything like that. It was just like a very faint. Well, it was two of them. It was two very faint like lights, and I was like, what's that? So we were just driving, and as I got closer, I was like, man, what is that? I know it's there, but I can't tell. So I started slowing down. As I got closer, I saw it was a Amish horse and buggy, and those lights was like the candles that they have in the back for like their signal lights, I guess is what you would call it, so you know they're there. But yeah, it was just that. And I was like, man, that's actually kind of creepy. It's like a little horse and buggy just riding down Shiloh in the middle. Well, it wasn't the middle of the night, but I think it was like 7, but it was already dark. It was like, during the fall. So I saw that. And that was pretty fun. We do have a big Amish population here. So I see Amish buggies all the time going up and down the highway. And there's a Amish community not too far away from Shiloh. In Statenville, which is another place that's really close to Shiloh. There's a big Amish population there. So, of course, if you don't know the Amish, I mean, they don't use electricity. So those lights, I mean, it wasn't signal lights or anything like that. It was literally a candle. And, just seeing the candle glowing in the night, knowing you're driving through Shiloh, knowing that there's a lot of ghost stories from Shiloh. And I've been to that church too, the Shiloh Church. I've been there. I do have a story about Shiloh Church that I'm really not going to get into here, but it's a very cool place. Shiloh in general is really cool. Seeing all of the mass graves that are around, you just get like this odd sense being there, knowing that there was like this huge battle that happened in that same exact area that you're in. Very surreal. The cemetery is pretty cool. There's a lot of plaques and a lot of stuff everywhere. So if you're ever in the area, Shiloh Military Park is something that you definitely want to check out. And if you can go at night, like the park does close at night, so you can't really go in. But every time I drive through, the entrance is still open. So sometimes I'm kind of tempted to just like make a turn in and go in. And then if I get caught, I just be like, yeah, I didn't know where I was going. I'm new here. But yeah, maybe one day. But for now, let's move on to the next location. The Lots House in Franklin is a Civil War era home that has witnessed its fair share of tragedy. During the Battle of Franklin in 1864, the Lots family took shelter in their basement as the battle raged just outside their door. The house itself became a field hospital, and the spirits of the soldiers who died there are said to haunt the home to this very day. Guests often report seeing apparitions of soldiers roaming the house, dressed in Confederate uniforms and others in Union blue. One of the most frequently spotted ghosts is that of a young drummer boy, who is seen wandering near the front door. Visitors have also reported the unmistakable sound of musket fire and footsteps echoing through the empty rooms. The piano in the parlor is known to play by itself on occasion, adding an eerie soundtrack to the already haunted atmosphere. The Lots home is open for tours, and it remains a popular destination for history buffs and ghost hunters alike. The Orpheum Theater in Memphis is famous for its performances, but it's equally famous for its resident ghost, Mary. The spirit of a young girl, believed to have died in a car accident in front of the theater, has been spotted in the balcony during shows. Mary has become something of a fixture at the Orpheum, often interacting with performers and staff. Many who have encountered Mary describe her as a playful spirit. She enjoys moving objects, flickering lights on and off, and occasionally pulling on people's clothing. Some performers have even reported seeing her peeking from behind the curtains during rehearsals. But Mary isn't the only ghost at the Orpheum. Phantom applause and the sounds of disembodied voices echoing through the theater after hours are common occurrences, leaving visitors and staff feeling the eerie presence of unseen specters. The Orpheum remains an active venue, offering ghost tours for those curious to learn more about its haunted past. Moving east to Sevierville, we find Wheatland's Plantation, one of the most haunted homes in Tennessee. Built in the early 1800s, this plantation has witnessed murders, tragic deaths, and even fires that claimed the lives of several children. The most active area in the house is said to be the basement, where the ghosts of children are often heard laughing and crying. Guests also report seeing the shadowy figures of Native American spirits, believed to be those of Cherokee Indians who were buried on the property after a violent conflict. Even more unsettling, the walls of the house are still stained with blood from the past murders, and many visitors have reported seeing apparitions of the plantation's former owners. The house sits near a mass grave containing the remains of 28 Cherokee Indians, Revolutionary War soldiers, and African slaves, contributing to the home's deeply eerie atmosphere. Wheatlands Plantation is open for tours, and its long, bloody history makes it one of Tennessee's most haunted destinations. Next, we head to Adams, Tennessee, home to one of the most famous hauntings in American folklore, the Bell Witch. The legend began in the early 1800s, when the Bell family began experiencing terrifying paranormal activity on their farm. The Bell Witch was believed to be a vengeful spirit who tormented the family, especially targeting John Bell and his daughter, Betsy. The witch's wrath was so intense that John Bell died under mysterious circumstances, and the spirit reportedly claimed responsibility for his death. The Bell Witch Cave, located on the Bell property, is believed to be the portal for the spirit. Visitors to the cave often report strange sounds, including whispering, footsteps, and the eerie feeling of being watched. Some have even claimed to see shadowy figures moving within the cave's darkness. The site is open for tours, and it's a must-visit for anyone interested in the paranormal. The Cranton Plantation in Franklin was a key site during the Battle of Franklin in 1864, one of the bloodiest battles of the Civil War. The mansion served as a field hospital, and the blood stains from wounded soldiers are still visible on the floor. There are over 1,700 Confederate soldiers buried on the property. It's no wonder the plantation is known for its ghostly activity. Visitors often see the apparitions of soldiers roaming the grounds, and some have reported hearing moaning and footsteps late at night. One of the most chilling sightings is that of a woman in a long white dress, believed to be the spirit of a nurse who cared for the wounded. She is often seen standing on the back porch, staring out at the nearby Confederate cemetery. Cranton Plantation offers guided tours where guests can learn about the history, and perhaps encounter some of its restless spirits. Moving into South Pittsburgh, we visit the infamous Old South Pittsburgh Hospital, which opened in 1959 and operated until the late 1990s. The hospital was built on land once occupied by Native Americans, and it's said that their restless spirits still linger. Over the years, visitors and investigators have experienced an array of paranormal activity, including the sound of footsteps, shadowy figures, and disembodied voices. One of the most haunted rooms in the hospital is Nellie's room, where a long-term patient reportedly left her door open to welcome visitors. Paranormal investigators have experienced heavy doors slamming on their own and heard phantom voices in their room. The hospital now offers overnight ghost hunts, where brave souls can explore its haunted halls and encounter the spirits who remain. Our final stop takes us to the sprawling Me-Man-Shelby Forest in Millington, just outside of Memphis. While this park is a great spot for hiking and camping, it's also home to a terrifying legend, the Pigman. According to local lore, the Pigman was a disfigured worker from a nearby explosives plant during World War II. After a tragic accident left him horribly scarred, He was said to roam the forest in search of revenge. If you visit the park at night and shout his name 3 times while flashing your headlights near Pigman Bridge, it's said that you'll summon his spirit. Many visitors have reported seeing shadowy figures moving through the trees and hearing strange growling sounds. Meeman Shelby Forest offers camping spots for the truly brave, and those who visit after dark may leave with more than just campfire stories. And there you have it, everybody. That is our look at 10 of the most haunted locations in Tennessee, my home state. I knew it wouldn't disappoint. There were a couple of other spots that I wanted to actually go and visit. I didn't really get to. I am going to be going to the Bell Witch Cave probably, I don't know, maybe in the next month or two. It really just depends on when I can actually find the time to make it out that far, because I think it's about 4 hours away to get to Adams, maybe a little less, maybe 3 hours or so. So I'm going to be planning a trip there. Of course, I'll take pictures for you guys when I get there. And I go to Franklin quite often, so some of the places that we talked about in this episode were in Franklin, and I'm definitely going to try to see if I can schedule a time to go out there next time I'm in Franklin, because I was actually there not too long ago. So maybe I'll stop by soon and see if I can pop in, maybe take a quick tour, or who knows, maybe I might even catch a ghost or something. So yeah, guys, we are dangerously close to the end of Haunted America. I think I have, 8 episodes left, maybe 7, something like that. So we're getting down to the wire. If you haven't already, please consider leaving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you're getting your podcasts from, because that's probably one of the best ways you can support the show, is just by leaving us a 5-star review, writing down a little bit of comments so you can let other listeners know that the Halloween podcast is definitely something that they need to check out. Because, I put in a lot of work on Haunted America. So yeah, help me out. Leave me a 5-star review. I'd really appreciate it. If you have any questions, comments, or want to suggest anything for a future show, send me an email to halloweenpodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to support the show, head on over to our website, thehalloweenpodcast.com. Check out our merch store. We got a lot of cool stuff up there, so feel free, order some stuff. All the proceeds go to help the Halloween podcast. And I can't forget about our Facebook page, facebook.com/thehalloweenpodcast. Got a lot of cool stuff up there. I keep everyone up to date on things whenever they happen to me, like when my back went out. So, yeah, but I at least got this episode recorded. It's going to go out in just a little bit, hopefully just in time for you to go on your commute home. So, all right, guys, that is it for this episode. Join me again tomorrow, because we are on our way to Texas, probably one of the biggest states in the U.S., So, yeah, it's a big state, and it's got some really big ghost stories. So I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.